And he made it just in time for the show to start, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to Around the Diamond here on the Rec Room Sports Hub. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, wonderful Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. It's awesome. We got a couple weeks out from the MLB trade deadline, which we're going to be talking about that a lot. We'll be doing some buying or selling later on in the show, talking some MLB draft. Of course, I am AP Allen Brellish, joined as always by the coach, Jonathan Grishman, and the Hall of Famer, Scott Cope. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
Man, I'm back on the road again, as it's been my summer, heading out back to Houston for a little recruiting again this week. So I got 2 more weekends really of travel. So I'm done. I'm getting close to the final stretch before my summer finally ends.
Jonathan only recruits fireballers on the mound. If you throw junk, he ain't coming across the bend. So great. Congratulations to you, Jonathan. Hard work pays off. It certainly has with you. So congrats on the class.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we'll get into the MLB draft, which was a couple weeks ago. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the labor disputes with the Players Association and MLB as a whole. And then, of course, we had the All-Star game, so we had to talk about that. But despite what happens in tonight's game, Scott, your team...
What? Move on. No hope. Don't give me hope.
I'm not giving them hope. I'm giving them praise because this is something that hasn't... This is something, though, that has not happened in 80 years. The Red Sox have won 15 straight, tying their franchise high in win streak, and it's put them right back in the wild card hunt, firmly in the wild card hunt, in a very lackluster American League, which is just right for the taking. And now it's like, well, the Rays are struggling a little bit. Who knows how good the Yankees are going to be with Judge out now longer than probably people expected. Is this right for the taking for the Red Sox now?
Yeah. So people in Boston are all guys, quote unquote, guy over the Red Sox. They're not as bad as they were before. They're not as good as they are now. They're somewhere in between. Their pitching is really good. They have a good pitching staff. Their offense is okay. They're doing this without Roman Anthony, without Marcelo Mayer, and without Trevor Story. Okay? That tells you a lot. Trevor Story, again, same as last year. Started off the season slow, and then he picked it up as the season went on toward the end of the year. He's injured right now. He's coming back. No Garrett Crochet. I understand all this stuff. I get that Jake Bennett's been phenomenal. I get it all. And they're trailing 4-0 tonight. So I thought it would end today, either this afternoon or tonight, because you usually don't sweep doubleheaders. It's very rare that you win both ends of it. Usually it's a split someplace. I could be wrong on that. But are they good enough to make the playoffs in the American League? Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the teams they're in contention with. Seattle, Minnesota, Baltimore, Toronto, Detroit. Those teams are not consistent by any means at all. And they may not even be good. So Toronto is Toronto again. They're doing the same thing they did before last year. is they're underachieving and they're not performing well. So, again, it's there for the taking. The second or third wild card is where they probably should be. But, I mean, how do you explain this turnaround? The pitching is great. I get it. They're second in the American League in run differential behind the Yankees. Fourth in Major League Baseball. I get all that. Usually what happens after a long winning streak, a losing streak comes 4 out of 6, 5 out of 8, whatever. So, just be prepared that there'll be a streak coming that's the other side of what's been on the last 2 weeks. So,
yeah, I agree. I don't know which Red Sox team that we're going to really see for the full second half. They're hot right now, and that's a good thing. You're back in the race. You're back in the wild card for sure. You're in conversation. I mean, I think we can say that. I know there's 6 games back right now. The Rays, they're in the conversation for the East, but is this who they really are? The winning streak it masks the issues, and at some point, as you said, Scott, they're going to come back down to earth. Do those issues that we saw beginning of the year come back? That's the word. And then how bad does it come back, and how strong it comes back? So I think that's something that you have to really, if you're a Red Sox fan, you have to be cognizant of. Which team are we really are? Are we the hot team, or are we the team that was struggling and wanting to sell, wanted to be sellers back in May? So the middle ground of that is kind of where you're hoping is not closer to the ceiling versus closer to the floor. I think this is, again, historical. Give credit where credit's due, for sure. And they turn it around fast with, as you said, Scott, with a lot of pieces that are not, a lot of the main pieces that are not there because they're injured.
Yeah.
And, so you've got to think, well, I think the optimistic side of it is, well, when we get these other pieces back, they should be stronger. Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So I don't know. I think this is something that we're going to see the Red Sox kind of hopefully build on, and continue this track. That even if they do losing the winning streak, that they just like, well, hey, we know what winning's like. We did it 15 straight times. It should be something that we just get second nature to us now. And as you said, I agree that a losing streak does follow sometimes on a long winning streak. It's just a matter of, are you buying into where you're at right now as a ball club, and really make sure that the trajectory continues on what you've built to get back into this race. I don't know. I don't know what we're seeing out of this team, if they are that good or just that hot right now. And I think once. Go ahead.
You can finish, John.
No, I was just saying, like, that's the big question. Are they that good, or are they that hot? And when they come back to earth, how far is the drop?
Right. So, update. Garrett Crochet spoke yesterday. He's nowhere near thrown. He hasn't thrown the ball in 3 weeks. I don't think you'll see him the rest of the year. I think he's done for the year. That's my personal opinion. He spoke to the media yesterday. He said they don't know what's going on. He hasn't thrown a ball in 3 weeks, so he's probably done for the year, I would think. If not, he's back in September, and the best you can hope for is a 5-inning pitcher at best. Number 2, this winning streak has saved Craig Breslow's job, and I'm not happy about that, because he put together this team that is not as good now as they showed, and not as bad as before. So what this team has done is save Craig Breslow's job, unfortunately. So again, it goes to tell you that once a team finds confidence and starts winning, it just steamrolls sometimes, and that's what's happened with this team. They swept Tampa Bay. They should not sweep Tampa Bay, to be honest with you, but they did. They swept the Yankees at the beginning of this. They go to Sacramento after Toronto this weekend. Even though the A's still have not performed like we had thought they could, or we had hoped they could, it's still going to be tough. 4 games in Sacramento, and then right after that, you go to the Dodgers for 3. So the schedule does get a little bit tougher here, and then you come home for the White Sox after that. So the schedule does get a little tougher. We'll see what they do, and I'm interested to see what they do for our special coming up in a couple of weeks. So we'll see what they do. And right now, it's great, but again, be prepared. The losing streak is coming. The 5 out of 7 is coming.
I'll throw this out there too. And this is where I'm actually the coach in me is very happy about this. I don't think it's a coincidence when you let go coaches and scouts that have no business being in professional baseball because of their philosophy.
Yep.
When you let them go and you remove them, you started winning. It's not a coincidence. Those guys who are part of this, they like to call themselves the new age of baseball, the revelation of baseball, because they do things different and whatnot. You remove them from the coaching staff and the scouting rooms, you started winning. It's not a coincidence. So the traditional baseball coach that I am, I'm very happy about that, because those kind of guys do not belong in professional baseball at all. So, I said, that's not a coincidence that the turnaround began after those guys were let go.
Exactly. The thing that I can compare this to, Alan, before we go back to you, is remember 1988 when Joe Morgan took over and the Red Sox just went off right after the All-Star break? This is just like it. It's just like it. You're finding ways to win. You're doing it in every way possible. You hire an interim manager who becomes the full-time manager, and your team just goes on a streak, and they rally around Chad Tracy. And that's what they've done. They've rallied around him. They want him as their full-time manager. So the Red Sox would be smart to take the interim tag off and give this guy the full-time job, because he's done a great job with them. So,
Yep. So how big, first and foremost, we'll say this is one of the rare times where all 3 of our teams are in action at the same time while we're on air. Obviously, you mentioned, Scott, your Red Sox are currently trailing. Jonathan, your Braves are up 1-0 in the third. White Sox and Rangers just kicked off. They're in the bottom of the first inning right now. So that's a big one right there, is 2 first-place teams in the American League fighting off each other. How big has Sonny Gray been as part of this winning streak? Because he's kind of been on his own little personal streak since he came off the IL in May. How impressed have you been with Sonny Gray since he came back from the IL?
As soon as he said we suck, they started winning. Basically, he said we're a bad baseball team right now. We stink. We suck. And they started winning. I don't know. Is it some kind of magic where you just put it out there? He's 10-0 in his last 13. Go ahead, Alan.
I was going to say, Scott, he's 10-0 in his last 13 starts, and he's
exactly
like what, 1.53 whip, something like that. He's been phenomenal since he came off the IL.
This is a guy that was on the trading block when they were bad, and now that they're good again, and now that he's pitching lights out, he's off the trading block. He's basically in Boston, and I would not be surprised if they give him this. This is the Sonny Gray that we've seen in stretches. Really, really good. Pitches really, really good. And then we've seen other stretches where he pitches really, really bad. And that's what he was doing at the beginning of the season. He was not pitching well. And now all of a sudden, he's the poster child of this Red Sox team right now. A guy that got hot, started pitching, winning ball games, and now all of a sudden he can't lose. If you look at the Red Sox, his face is on that poster for the last 2.5 weeks, because he's been the same place the Red Sox have been. So,
dark horse Cy Young contender,
for sure, yes. If Schlittler fails and the Red Sox keep winning, and all of a sudden they're within 1 or 2 games, and Gray is still doing what he's doing now, he's in the talk for Cy Young. I don't think you can deny that. But he's not as good as he's shown the last 13 starts. There is a come down off of this, just like the team. So, again, he's got to keep this up.
He is the personification of the Red Sox right now.
Absolutely, no question. The 2026 Red Sox is Sonny Gray in a nutshell. So,
Jonathan, thoughts on Sonny Gray so far since his comeback?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely a target by the Braves not that long ago for a trade because he's from the South, and I think there was something that was a lot of people were talking that he would be a perfect fit for Atlanta. So I'm a little disappointed that the Red Sox did get did catch looking at as buyers at the deadline. So that kind of along with the trade block by the Red Sox. He has been, as Scott said, the face of this team this year. But with Crochet being out, he's the ace. He's the again. I remember the comment that he put out there and go, "We suck." I remember that. I remember as well a lot of social media, a lot of people on there like, how could you say such a thing about your team? The problem was some of these people out there that have never been in part of a clubhouse or a locker room. You have to say when you know, and if you're not playing well, speak it, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is it's going to rally the team around. And what he did was be the voice, and it really just kind of lit a fire under this team. So. Crucial is what he is, because if Sonny Gray doesn't pitch the way he is right now, this is not a playoff caliber team. If he's not the voice of this team, we're not talking about the Red Sox being buyers or in the wild card. We're talking about them selling, and they're one of the bottom third of the American League. He has become, and I think why Red Sox fans love him right now. He's not a big name. Like he's a grinded out type of pitcher that he's been throughout his career. Had moments of ups, he's had moments of downs. I mean, that's a Boston mentality. And he fits that culture so well and that environment so well that's why the fan base, and tell me if I'm wrong, Scott, the fan base is absolutely just bought in and rallied around Sonny Gray. And yes. They are, and I would be cautious about anything as far as for future-wise, Sonny, because there is the inconsistencies. But, I mean, you're talking about a player that's probably going to end up getting conversations of contract extensions just because it fits this culture so well. And, like I said, if you take him off this team is not a playoff team. They're not a playoff caliber team. So, I don't even know the word crucial is even good enough for him. Like
those damn Texas Valleys, gotta love them.
No, but to Jonathan's point, I do agree. There we go. He's back.
Is he back?
Not just the
oh, he's back. There he is. He's back.
There he is. Okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, Sonny Gray is. I think what he's been his whole career is what? A middle, a 2 or a 3, depending on the team. Middle of the order rotation guy. And because he's done what he's done now, he's become a strong 2 on this Red Sox team. Suarez was out for injury. He's coming back, or he's back. I don't know who he's pitching tonight. I didn't check the box.
He's still on the 15-day, I think, was what I saw.
Okay, so they haven't taken him off yet. So either he's had a setback, or they've said, Ranger, let's wait a couple more days. Maybe the Toronto series is where you start. So yeah, he's been the guy. He's been the guy, and he's in the Cy Young candidate. And if the Red Sox are smart, they signed him yesterday. You can't let the guy walk. You obviously can't let him walk. He likes Boston. He can pitch with this team. I mean, this team, if you look at this team, who's the biggest name on the team? Is it Wilson Contreras? Probably. So this team is not a team built with the Juan Sotos, the Otanis, the Witts, the Alonsos. They're just built a lot of scrappers on this team, a lot of scrappers. And it almost makes me think of the Miami Marlins when I look at this team. Scrap. We'll stay in every game. We'll fight to the last out. We'll be a tough team to beat. I look at them as a little bit of the Miami Marlins right now in terms of how they're playing and their attitude toward games.
Yeah. But I'll say, Scott, that's when the Red Sox are at their best.
Yes. Yeah.
When they're the underdog, scrappy team, win ugly. That's the World Series titles teams.
Yep. No question. No question.
I mean, it's also brought Baltimore back down to earth a little bit too. This is another team that started to kind of get hot until they came to Boston. So, but yeah, that'll be fun if the Orioles start to find traction again and Boston continues their hot run. This is going to be a fun AL East here in the second half with them, the Yankees and the Rays. All four of these teams will be vying for position, whether it's wild card position or for the actual division itself. So. I'm very intrigued to see how the AL East plays out.
And the Yankees are coming back to the pack. They lost to the Pirates in Game 1 today. They're coming back to the pack. No Aaron Judge. We've talked about it for 2 years now. That lineup is terrible without Aaron Judge.
I recently heard that he's on the 60-day DL now.
Got transferred to 60-day IL. So now
who knows how long he's going to be out for?
Could be September. Could be late August before you see him in the lineup again. The Yankees might be fighting for a wild card spot at that point. They're 3.5 up on the Guardians right now, 4.5 up on the Red Sox right now. They could be in third place in the wild card in less than 2 weeks when the trade deadline comes up. We could be looking at the Yankees as desperate to stay in the wild card. So, I mean, Yankees fans.
I mean, at the very least, what's helping them right now is the AL West does not want to win games because both the Astros and the Mariners lost today. So it's like, what's going on, guys? That's why I'm also saying that I think Texas will just somehow break away in the AL East because nobody in the division wants to win games. So the Yankees just might be in by default because nobody else wants to win right now.
If we talk about the Yankees, I think if they miss the playoffs, that should be the final nail in Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. If they go ahead and just miss the playoffs altogether, I think if they are a wild card team and they are one and done, that should also be the final nail. I think the only thing that continues to save Boone and Cashman's job is if they make it to the AL Championship Series again. That's the only thing. I think anything less than that, they're gone. And you cannot miss the playoffs in Bronx at this stage where everybody is so frustrated with those two, and the fan base is absolutely turned on Brian Cashman, and they're fed up with Aaron Boone. You miss the playoffs, they're done. They have to be done. If Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman have a job still in New York if they miss the playoffs, that just tells you they have a job. They have a job for life.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, who's the one team the Yankees do not want to see in the playoffs?
Red Sox.
They can't beat the Red Sox. They can't beat the Red Sox. It is so strange right now. The last 2 years, they just can't beat them. They could have the best team on the planet. They just can't beat them. It's odd. It's scarily odd that they can't beat the Red Sox.
It reminds me a lot of my NFL team and how no matter how good we are, we can't beat the damn Arizona Cardinals on a Monday Night Football game.
I know.
I don't know. For whatever reason, we could be undefeated, like 12-0. We go into Arizona, we get beat by 10 or 20. For whatever reason, we can't beat the Arizona Cardinals. It's the same thing right now with the Yankees. They can't beat the Red Sox.
Well, here's a question to both of you. Who's the best team in the American League right now?
Right now, I would say Boston. With the way they're playing?
I know, exactly.
I mean...
Oh, it's the Rays today. Oh, tomorrow it might be. I mean, this weekend, the Red Sox swept the Rays. After this weekend, I was going to say, it could be, do I dare say, the White Sox?
I mean,
they're possible.
I mean, unless we take 2 of 3 from them, maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, they've been probably the most consistent American League team this year. Is the White Sox.
The 6 teams in the playoffs in the American League right now are Tampa, White Sox, Rangers, Yankees, Guardians, Red Sox. Anybody have those 6 in the playoffs this year? Not me.
I mean, two of them we definitely didn't. Tampa Bay and Chicago for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are probably the 2 biggest surprises this year.
We liked Chicago to a point, not to this point, to a point. And now all of a sudden, I think regret. I said it on the show. I was watching the show. I said it in the chat. Do we think the White Sox are about ready to regress back to a bad baseball team again? Do we see that coming? I get that feeling that something's going to happen with them.
I mean,
I don't know that because I don't know.
I was going to say, Jonathan, I've gotten to see. Obviously, we're playing them right now. They've actually hadn't played bad in this series. Even in the game we crushed them in, there was just a couple things that just didn't go their way. If they go their way, it's a lot closer game than a 10-0 game. So I've been kind of impressed.
I was going to say I don't know that because the American League is so bad.
I know.
Like they may lose a game here or there. They may have a stretch where they do lose a few games, but everybody else is going to lose a few games in the American League. So what's the drop off if you're one of the top teams, like one of the top American League teams, and when you have your drop, but everybody else is still losing too? Like I don't know. I don't know where the regression starts because there's just nothing that says anybody else is or catch up or beat them or do anything that's going to make them competitive. Like it's an average league. That's the best way I can put it out there. The American League is just average, and nothing. We're seeing that the Tampa Bay Rays are going through a stretch right now, but they're still the best team in the American League record-wise.
Yeah.
So I'm sure a drop's going to happen, but a full regression, I don't think so because I just don't see anybody else. I don't see the Guardians stepping up and being like, well, we've been the class of this division, and we need to make sure we start acting like it. Well, they haven't. They haven't shown that. So I don't think so. Maybe a small regression, but not enough that's going to have them fall. Just because again, this league is so average.
I mean, even if they do lose tonight, the Guardians are trailing the Twins right now, so they would still be tied for the division lead. So
and that's the thing. No Jose Ramirez, and they're still second in the wild card in the American League. That shows you how mediocre American League baseball has been this year. Is you're missing your all-world player, and you're still firmly entrenched in the middle of the wild card.
The Pirates and Yankees right now are in game 2. They're 7 innings in. It's a scoreless tie. Only 3 hits between both teams. It's like you said, Scott. Without Aaron Judge, the offense for the Yankees is moot. It's moot.
They're awful. I'll be the first to say Yankees are going to be a quick out in the American League playoffs this year.
Oh, easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't hit. And you expect Aaron Judge to come back in the playoffs and just hit like 4 bombs in the series? Don't think so.
The only team worse than them on defense is the other team in New York. The Mets have been atrocious on defense this year.
They belong together.
I think I said it last week where it's like the Mets have just found new ways to invent errors in baseball. It's just been that comical with them this year.
They belong together. Have fun. New York, you deserve this. Congratulations.
Oh, my God.
You deserve it.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how New York would feel if both Mets and Yankees? Obviously, Mets aren't going to make the playoffs, but if both teams are not in the postseason in 2026, can you imagine the stories and the back pages of and everything that's in the radio shows that go on in New York, how they're gonna be that both New York teams could potentially miss the postseason?
Fire everyone!
Oh my God!
My honest opinion, this is my honest opinion. Aaron Boone will not be fired. He will be back next year, no matter what happens.
I agree. I agree with you. I feel like they're gonna just make an excuse. Well, Aaron Judge didn't play majority of the season, so when Judge plays, the Yankees make the postseason. So we're just gonna call this a wash because Judge wasn't healthy. I agree with you. I feel like that Cashman's going to be there as well.
I can't. I can't talk about the Yankees anymore.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible.
awful. It's awful. They could go 52 and 110. Well, Aaron didn't have Aaron Judge this year, so you know what? We're going to bring him back because we need to have a full team. If he goes 52 and 110 again, we'll fire him. Come on.
No,
Red Sox are on the board. Red Sox are on the board. Let's go.
I'm all for, you know what? I'm all for Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman having a job in New York for life. Let it happen.
I am too.
Let that ship sink. Let that ship sink. Those two stay with it, and all is right in the world if the Yankees continue to just absolutely crumble. Absolutely enjoy it.
Here's what would happen if the Yankees and the Mets didn't make the playoffs. Let's go, Giants. Come on, Giants. You guys are good. You're going to come through for us this year. 5-12 later. No. That's what the back page, that's what the sports page in New York would be. Be all Giants all the time. The Yankees and Mets would be on like page 16 of the 17-page sports. That's what would happen. So,
well, one of our young prospects, Cam Colley, just hit his first career home run in the big leagues. So, just tied it up with the White Sox. So it's tied 1-1.
Is that series split right now, Alan?
It is split. We won. Okay. We won last night. They won game 1. So This is the rubber match.
I want to talk about what's going on with Nathan Eovaldi. He has not been good the last 2 years. What I mean, is he at the end of the line right now? Is he getting close to the end of the line yet?
What is he like 38 right now? Is he 38 years old?
I think he's 30, either 37 or just about to turn 38. Or he is 38.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we've kind of seen, I mean, we saw the renaissance of him, earliest in his tenure with the Rangers, but I mean, at this point, yeah, I think we have to look at it and say that he's coming down to the final stretch of his career. And, as the old saying says, Father Time is undefeated. And right now we're kind of seeing that it's just not the same Nathan Eovaldi that we've saw for the last few years, and his first few years in Texas.
It's a shame because he was in Boston. He pitched really well in stretches, and he looked like a pitcher that could sustain. And he went to Texas. He had that big year, I think, in the first year, Alan, right? He was in Texas. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden he's just regressed the last two or 3 years. It's just unfortunate because he's a good pitcher.
36. 36.
36? Okay. Yeah. Well, the end comes from
Jacob deGrom is 38. Jacob deGrom is 38.
Okay. All right, that's it. But yeah, I don't want to see it be like a Scherzer or a Verlander and just keep hanging on.
I'm more wondering, like, what the hell happened to Mackenzie Gore? Like, that's been the puzzling thing for me is, like, what happened to him this year? Like,
I don't think
like Eovaldi's been good in spots. Like, Mackenzie Gore's just been meh.
That has been, and I saw an article actually that they're saying that trade by the Rangers and Nats with Gore going to Texas is one of the biggest lopsided trades that the Rangers getting. Basically, at this point, they're saying Rangers got fleeced by the Nationals for what they gave up. Because I think I saw 3 of the prospects that were part of that deal
are
now
top 20, top 10.
They're in the top 20, and I think 2 of them are in the top 10 on the prospect list. Like, that's not good, and you're not getting Cy Young caliber. Gore was. I don't think anybody was putting Mackenzie Gore in a Cy Young candidacy, but he had Cy Young potential, and you're not getting anything close to the potential in that. So there's a concern. That's a huge concern if you're the Rangers that you made this big splash, and it is not paying off at all for you. Hopefully, I guess you could say hopefully in the future it does pay off, but right now the talk of baseball is the Rangers got fleeced.
Like right now, I trust Kumar Rocker more than I do Mackenzie Gore, and Rocker's been excellent his last few outings. So
but I said this too for you guys. I said this for the last couple of years that they needed to go into the youth movement more with Kumar. Get your young pitchers that are in there that you've been developing, and really do what you can to help those guys. And take them. And then you add some pieces here and there. You add some veterans, but you didn't need to make a big splash, especially since you do have DeGrom still, which call it what that trade has been for the Rangers. You have Evaldi still, and we've talked about his regression lately. Build yourself depth. Add quality depth. You don't need the splash. They went and got the splash. And they were hoping that they could look at it and say Mackenzie Gore, Jacob deGrom, and Nathan Evaldi are 1, 2, 3. But it hasn't panned out that way. And I think you're talking about potentially setting back your franchise. Now you're winning right now. That's a good thing. But at some point, though, you gotta pay the piper. And adding and making a bad trade does not help your future when you need to look at it, because again, DeGrom's gonna retire here probably the next couple of years or so. He's gonna be gone. Evaldi's probably gonna retire here pretty soon too. So where's the future?
It's got to be with Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker.
It better be, but they're not investing as if that's the case. Yes, add the veterans, but I mean, don't make the splash when you have young, talented guys who have shown you that they're capable of being big league pitchers. They are capable of it. Do something with those guys to build the rotation around and add the quality depth pieces that you need, but you don't need the splash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Real quick before we get into buy or sell, guys, Scott, we kind of Jonathan and I at the end of the show last week kind of talked a little bit about the MLB draft, and more so about the lack of coverage with it and what have you, which, that's still something that boggles my mind. Guys, what are some of the big takeaways from the draft that kind of caught your eye, and maybe some players getting drafted to certain teams or some certain teams making certain moves? What caught your eye?
So I agree with you, Alan. The MLB draft is not covered like it should be. I get the NFL draft's a whole big TV production. The NHL Network has the NHL draft on their own channel, and they hype it up for a couple of weeks. It seemed like that nobody knew the MLB draft was coming, and all of a sudden an hour before, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, MLB draft is on. Oh, we got to tune in." I mean, the MLB does not do the draft a service like the other leagues do. The NBA does it upright, NFL does it upright, NHL in their own right does it upright. But there's never any talk of the MLB draft, and then you look and all of a sudden it's like, oh, today's draft day. Oh, we got to tune in. I mean, it's just a shame. That's my big takeaway from it. There's nothing. The MLB does nothing to hype it up, does not talk about the prospects. Some people don't even know who the prospects in the draft are, to be honest with you, unless you go.
A casual like me has to look stuff up just to make sure I know who these guys are.
Yeah. Don't you have a network that you can talk about these prospects and these players in the draft? Like, have a couple of draft shows a day or something for 2 weeks leading into the draft. Hype these kids up. Let them feel like, hey, MLB is a big thing. Because these kids probably feel like, well, MLB is not a big thing. I get drafted by the White Sox. I get drafted by the Red Sox, Marlins, Braves. It's not really a big thing. And now they're talking about cutting all these jobs out with the new collective bargaining agreement. I mean, it doesn't do these kids any service. I feel bad for these kids coming in because they're coming in at a time of no certain anything in baseball right now. Nothing. I got drafted by the White Sox. Great. Am I going to be able to play next year? Am I going to have a job? Where am I going to be in 2 years? I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing with me. In terms of the draft, I thought it was an expected draft. I think that guys that were supposed to go where they went where they went. Number one pick was supposed to be the number one pick, and a lot of these players just went where they were supposed to go.
How good must the White Sox feel knowing that they're first place and they got the number one pick this year?
It's great. It's great for them. They can build something if they want. Mm-hmm. You can build something if you want. Whether they do it the right way or not, it's another story. But I think it's great for the White Sox. I think they got this. This kid's supposed to be the real deal. I could see him in the major leagues in 2 or 3 years. So if the MLB doesn't screw it up and the CBA gets ratified, like we hope it does. So
the big thing, I know like Alan said, we talked about it last week. Yes, there is not any marketing, promoting done for the draft for the players, and I know it's the argument can be made. Well, we have so many players, there's so many rounds, and that's kind of why Major League Baseball wants to cut the draft and whatnot, because it's just hard to kind of keep up with everybody. But at the end of all, and I think Major League Baseball did themselves a disservice by not really doing much with ESPN anymore. And I understand ESPN is not what it used to be, and they continue to do things that are just out of their own issues. But the issue that I feel is the only coverage you get on the draft was on MLB Network, which not everybody owns. Not everybody has that channel. So you're limiting your opportunity of marketing your draft, your future, to just one channel that a percentage of people watch. You don't do anything on ESPN. You don't do anything on Fox Sports. You don't do anything on any other network that you could talk about baseball prospects and your Major League Baseball draft to preview the future of your players that you have. Like, that's a great opportunity to educate the masses. And you can't do it because you decided to switch everything to streaming services on Peacock, on Apple, on Amazon, Netflix games now. Like, nothing is traditionally, you don't have anything set on there for ESPN. When you had Baseball Tonight back in the day, they did stuff like that for the draft. They talked to you. You had draft shows once a week on the weekend, but you had draft shows for 3 to 4 weeks leading up to the Major League Baseball draft, and it was it helped. It helped market your future. Major League Baseball still cannot figure out how to market its players, and if I'm part of the union, that's part of my problem I have with you owners and commissioner, and I understand the commissioner is going to be retiring here in a few more years, but I have a problem with how the historical aspect of this league has failed. I won't say has just failed to promote players to the masses. The whole talk about we need to get the younger fan base. We need to get more, the newer fan base. We need to get new, attractive fan bases to our league. Market the league. Do it the right way. Why do you think the NFL passed you up 20 years ago? Not because of the strike and the CBA issues you continue to have every single time we get to this point. It's the sheer fact that the NFL looked at it and go, we have an opportunity to invest and expand our marketing department, our marketing and programming ability, and make the people who have face masks on their faces, who have their faces covered up, we show who they are on TV. We show who they are on commercials. We got our deal with Nike. When they switched from Reebok to Nike, they started putting their players out in the public more and more and more and more. You can have Patrick Mahomes walk down the street in some random city and everybody knows who he is. If you have Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I know Vladimir's not as big, the big superstar. Bobby Witt Jr. Let's say Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt's probably one of the top. If you have him walking down the street, I guarantee you not many people know who he is. If you have Shohei Ohtani walking down the street, I'll put it that way, the international star. If you have Shohei walking down the street, he probably doesn't get recognized by just the casual people. But Patrick Mahomes does. Tom Brady did. Peyton Manning did. Shohei probably doesn't. Mike Trout probably doesn't. Vladimir Guerrero, Bobby Witt Jr., anybody. I mean, you talk about these guys. Paul Skeens probably wouldn't get recognized as much as the NFL guys do. That's a problem. So the draft it needs to start with the players, but it also needs to find a way to help promote the NFL draft. As big of a spectacle it was when it was at Radio City Music Hall, it's blown up because the NFL geniusly go, hey, you know what we could do? We could take the NFL draft on the road, and we'll get a million people to sit outside in whatever city that we're going to hold it in, and 1 million people are going to show up just to hear us call names. How brilliant of an idea that was. Major League Baseball can't even do it right for their TV. For TV. It's disgusting how they continue to fail the marketing side of the league in every form of facet you can think of. Now, that was a long-winded answer about that. But as far as the draft itself, the players, it's interesting how it looked at the top five. Were pretty much known that it was going to be, and they deserved the money that they got. But if you look down into and I'll use from the number 9 slot, from the Braves down to probably about 18, where and this is something that you have to educate a lot of fans on. They took players who the value was lesser to utilize money. I think that's something that's really interesting, that a lot more teams this year took players that they knew they would sign under slot value, and they loaded up on guys that were going to be a little bit tougher to sign in the later part. Because you have pitchers and players that they went about $2 million over slot value in the second and third round. And it's really interesting that the value of those guys was higher than what it usually, and that's what's so backwards, I think, with how the MLB draft is compared to the NFL, whatnot. NFL wants the higher value in the early parts of the draft. Major League Baseball does it a little bit sideways. They go. We want value in the middle part, in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round picks, where we might be able to, to take a couple of players under slot value and go get those guys that maybe we didn't have a shot to get, and they did. So it's interesting about how the league just continues to evolve and how they do the scouting and what they think that the value of these guys are in regards of of talent evaluation in the middle part of the round. I think Rock Chalosky, he will be. I'm not going to say superstar just yet, but I think he's going to be a really good ball player for the White Sox. I think he's got a lot of work to do still. I think we saw that he got exposed a little bit throughout this year with UCLA, where his hitting ability was really. He's got really good bat to ball skills, but he got exposed a little bit here and there at times, especially as the competition was better. He got exposed, and I think the minors they're gonna have to iron out those wrinkles to make sure that your superstar, your future, your number one pick is who he's supposed to be. It was really interesting just how the draft really panned out. That a lot more college guys. They did have a lot of high school guys, but I think it's not as much as past years. You had a lot more college guys this year get drafted, and there's a handful of guys that a lot of the high school kids passed up going to the draft and it's college baseball. One, because they've been advised that hey, there might not be professional baseball next year. There just might not be. And then you also have NIL being a huge factor in these kids that want to go to college. And saying, well, I can go make $1 million. I can go make 6 figures to 7 figures in college, and develop and still be able to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. Plus, again, I don't have to be involved with the CBA lockout next year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple of things. There were only 5 high school kids in the first round. 5. That's it. That's down a little bit, I think, in my memory. Number 2, the Angels drafted a 17-year-old kid who has not graduated high school yet.
Can this organization get any worse?
Yeah, they drafted a 17-year-old kid that I just read about him real quick. He has not graduated high school yet, not finished high school. And number 3, Alan, does Gio Rojas ring a bell? Name ring a bell to you?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. Well, how does he ring a bell to you?
I'm trying to remember. My mind's blanking right now.
He's the Rangers' first-round draft pick. See, this is what me and Jonathan were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would know who. Oh, Jonathan's gone. You see, he's not going to make my point for me. You would do the homework on these guys, but a lot of people, when you say Gio Rojas, they'd be like, in Texas? Who? Who is he?
Who?
Rangers fans. Who's Gio Rojas? That's the problem with the MLB draft. Is nobody knows these guys
unless you're an utter diehard who literally devotes your life to following this stuff.
You're
not gonna have any clue about this. Well, hopefully Jonathan can hop back on here pretty soon. Unfortunately, he is driving, so it might be a little rough.
Dead spots. But again, the Angels did what the Angels do. They screw up. You're taking a 17
talk about a team. You talk about a team that scouts other teams under the table, yet they still can't win games against.
I mean, the Angels. Somebody said something the other day on a show that I didn't think about. That I started thinking about. You know, the Angels have probably the best home field advantage in baseball because a lot of teams play on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they travel out to Los Angeles to start a series on Monday. So they're tired from traveling. Not a lot of teams are close to Anaheim. Like St. Louis just went out there. Okay? Here he comes. St. Louis just went out there. And I think they lost 2 or 3 to the Angels. The Angels have the best home field advantage. The only problem is they have no talent on their team. Or hardly any.
The Angels lost 1-0. They out-hit the Cardinals today. They out-hit them 7-3. They out-hit the Cardinals 7-3, but they lost 1-0. And the Mariners ended up losing to the Reds too. So now they lost.
Okay.
Everybody in the AL West loses.
Here's a question. Who's going to get to the playoffs first now? The Twins or the Angels?
Twins.
In the American League. Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah.
Twins.
Come on.
Scott, the better question is who gets to the playoffs first, the Angels or the Rockies?
Oh, boy. Neither. No, I'd say the Rockies right now. I'd say the Angels are just a dumpster fire of an organization. I'd say the Rockies. At least the Rockies got some young talent they can build around if they don't trade it. That's the key point, if they don't trade it.
Yeah, I mean, your owner comes out again, says, "Oh, hey, we're not going to trade Mike Trout." At this point, why? Why not? Why not? You've missed your window. You clearly missed your window. So why not do something at least to help the franchise, long term down the road?
The other thing, Jonathan, is you knew you had no chance at signing Shohei to a long-term contract, and you didn't even attempt to trade him and get some prospects back from him. Didn't even try. Just said, we're going to keep Shohei. We're confident we can sign him. Everybody in baseball knew he was not going back to the Angels.
It was no.
And you didn't try to trade him. And now, what's the law with Mike Trout? Always, he's going to be a lifetime Angel. That's the law now. With the Angels organization.
He's the greatest player in franchise history. Yeah, but like the second half of his entire career is just been.
How many playoff games?
He's only been in playoffs one time.
Yeah. So what has he done for your organization? He's a great player. Okay, I get it. He's ultra talented. He's got all the tools. But what has he really done for your organization since he got drafted?
Made the owner a lot of money.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
And forced a lot of terrible sign contracts.
Right. Yet you stuck an aging Albert Pujols around him. You stuck an Anthony Rendon who doesn't care about baseball around him. Your pitching over that period of time since the World Series that they were in with the Giants has been terrible. He wasn't even there then. But since that year, their pitching staff's been.
He was a part of that. He was there when they had that draft class that was entirely made of pitchers, which none of them are on the team anymore.
Yeah.
What was that? 24 picks. They picked 24 pitchers. None of them are on the team.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's one of the biggest why organizations in all of sports. Where it's like, yeah, you won a World Series in 2002. Congratulations. Where have you been since?
Is it the worst organization in major sports? The Angels.
Remember I asked that last week. And yeah, I mean, you got to put. I think because it's been ownership malpractice, you have to put them as they are the worst. They have made. It's not even the fact that they've made bad moves. They've just made bad decisions.
Yeah,
that's the issue. You can live with bad, in a way. You can, in a way, live with making bad moves because you're at least making moves. And for a while, they were making moves, bad moves, but making moves. The fact that they made two awful decisions, not trading Mike Trout 8 years ago, when his value was high, and not trading Shohei Ohtani. Those are two absolutely horrible decisions that they made. So, I think hands down, they are the worst professional sports franchise in North American sports because they don't make good decisions.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, Scott, I know you got to go here in a few minutes, so we're going to rapid fire this as best we can. We're going to do some buy or sell here as the trade deadline looms. Just because there could potentially be some moves made within the next week or so. So
Garrett Garcia to the Braves is number one. Is that what we're doing? Buy or sell?
All right, so I'll basically just give y'all a team. You just tell me if they're buyers or sellers. If you guys feel they'll be buyers or sellers, I'm gonna throw you onto the bus right away, Scott. Red Sox.
Buyers. They're buyers. I don't want them to be, but they're when you get yourself back in the playoff race, you do yourself an injustice if you just stay pat. You have to buy, and they will buy. Who they trade is an interesting one. Who are you trading? I have two names that I think they should trade. I don't know if they will, but Roman Anthony and Marcelo Mayer.
Interesting.
I do agree. The Red Sox have put them in position to be buyers. I think they understand that this is the best opportunity they're going to be in to make a move with, again, how bad the American League is. That it would be foolish for them to do any other decision, even to stand pat. It would be foolish for them to stand pat. They should know a move is going to be it would be very crucial for them, and they have to be able to find a way to add to this team. They're in a good position to do it, getting themselves right back in the thick of things.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Jonathan, I'll start with you on this one. Chicago White Sox.
So there's going to be a theme, at least in my perspective, I'm sure, and maybe Scott sees the same thing. The White Sox will be buyers. You're ahead of your schedule. When you're ahead of your rebuild schedule, and nobody really thought the White Sox were going to be where they're at right now, so clearly they're ahead of the timeline that was out there. When you're ahead, you make moves. You do something to keep that you now have a championship caliber window, and I'm not only going to say American League Central championship caliber window. I'm not putting them in the World Series conversation, but you have a window that you put yourself in by being ahead of your rebuild. You go ahead and make moves now. You go and add to the team, because if you make the right moves next year, as the team continues to grow and develop, and you're seeing progress being made finally after so many years, that if you make the right moves for your future, that it's going to help you now, and you bring in guys who are under contract for 2 more years. You talk about an actual championship window now in the South Side of Chicago. So this is the right moment for them to be buyers.
Yeah, and I'll add on. They're buyers to me. I'll add on. You don't know when you're going to get in this position again as an organization, so you have to take advantage of it. So I complete buyers to me. Free agents have gone from 2 years ago saying, "I'm not going near Chicago," to, maybe they're not such a bad place to go after all. So yeah, bias.
Jonathan, I'll go back to you for another NL team, one that you have a lot of interest in, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'll say, yeah, you can't sell if you're Pittsburgh.
No,
you can't. You're in a wild. You're holding right now a potential wild card position. You gotta buy. You have to buy. And the sheer fact that your owner or general manager, I can't remember who it was, comes out and says we're going to buy without adding payroll. What? You're going to be buyers without adding payroll? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And that mentality as a front office is what's going to make you lose the second generational pitcher you've had in your franchise in the last 20 years. You lost Garrett Cole with the same mentality. And you're going to do the same thing with Paul Skeens if you're not careful. Find a way to add money to your payroll to get yourself in a position to make the postseason. That's all. I guarantee you, you make the postseason and you add money to it. Guess what happens? I know that their front office doesn't understand this because they've only made the playoffs, once in the last 12 to 15 years right now?
Yeah.
When you make the postseason, your revenue increases because postseason revenue is a lot more than what it is in a regular season. You get bonuses. You get bonuses when you go to the postseason. You get additional revenue. You get the TV revenue for postseason games is increasing. So you may spend money, but the old adage, the old econ adage here, you got to spend money to make money. Mm-hmm. And if you spend money and you make the postseason, guess what, Pittsburgh? You make a lot of money. And if you make a lot of money, guess what? And you find a way to make the postseason, hey, if you win games in the postseason, you now can sit down with Paul and go, we are in the right trajectory. We made the postseason. We want to, let's just say for all intents and hypotheticals here, they win a postseason, they win a wild card. They win a wild card round, they go to the NLDS. They get eliminated in the DS. They sit down with them and go, we are in the right trajectory now. We just added to our revenues, which is going to go right back to payroll, and we're going to add more pieces. And now we're going to contend next year for a division crown. That's how you do it. Speaking from, I know not the same level. I'm not trying to compare anything, but that's what we did at Coastal Bend. In college, I understand. Blah 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 blah. We won. We were competitive. I'm able to spend a little bit more money on scholarships and whatnot to add more to the team to make sure that we keep the window going. Pittsburgh, if you win games and you add to your team and you make it to the postseason and you win a series in postseason, you get more money in your pocket and you can spend more money and it doesn't hurt your franchise. Why is that so hard to figure out? I don't know. They need to be buyers. If they want Paul Skeens to stay in Pittsburgh, they have to be buyers.
Yeah, I would agree. They got to be buyers, but why do I think they're just going to stand pat and not do anything?
They will.
That comment about money and we're not adding the payroll makes me think they're standing pat.
The issue here, and this is why I kind of said, and it's where the pattern is. When I said a second ago, it is a seller's market. There's going to be so many buyers in going on right now that if you are a seller, you will have you're going to set the price to whatever you want it to be because there's so many teams that are going to be trying to drive the price up. And if that happens, Pittsburgh has no market to make a move because it's going to be priced out of them. So that unless they make a smaller move just to try to make a move to appease their fan base. But if they want to make a splash or anything that's going to actually help them contend for a wild card spot, it's going to get priced out of their range. And they're not. And as you said, Scott, they're going to stand pat because of it.
And don't forget now, there's going to be more buyers than there are sellers because of this wild. There's going to be more buyers than there's going to be sellers So there's not going to be enough players for all these teams to make a trade. Somebody is going to be left out. And I have a feeling the Pirates will be left out because the Pirates will only offer 40 cents on the dollar to try to get somebody.
Right.
And the team will say, no, we go to Boston, we can go to Texas, we can go to Atlanta, we can go anyplace else, and we'll get a little bit more. So sorry, Pittsburgh, but we can't trade with you. So
let's do another National League team. Cincinnati Reds, Scott.
Sellers, they got to sell. I mean, they just signed Chase Burns. They won't trade him. But I think Ellie and Chase Burns might be the only two untouchables on that team. And everybody else is going to be up for trade. So I think they're going to be sellers.
I agree. That is one of the seller teams that are out there. They have underachieved. They're the one that had a little bit higher expectations. They spent a little bit of money in the off season, and it has got them nowhere. And so this is the time for them to look at it and say, we have some players that are available. With as you know, myself and Scott just said that this is a true seller's market, that they can just name the price for whatever, and they might be able to get the deal that they want. So for them, this is the right time to be sellers, to try to get that deal that they need. So yeah, they're going to be sellers.
Yep.
We'll do one more of each before we end off. Mets have come out and said, other than Juan Soto and their top two prospects, everybody's up for grabs. How much do they sell, Scott?
Do they have anybody worth selling? That's the point. I mean, no.
They do.
That's fair.
McLean? Do you trade McLean out of New York? I don't think.
I know he wasn't named. I don't see them trading him. I don't.
I can't. Do they trade Lindor? Does Lindor go?
That's
an interesting name that a lot of teams would be really interested in.
It depends on how much of the contract gets eaten. How much does the Mets take to eat the contract? I'm trying to think. What teams need a shortstop? What playoff? My Braves, but the Mets aren't going to trade Lindor to the Braves, and the Braves aren't going to spend that kind of money to get a shortstop.
You want Lindor in Boston, Scott?
No. One team that he's been linked to is the Guardians, going back to Cleveland. I've heard that. Don't know that they would do it, but
the Mets have to eat the Mets. I think Cleveland will tell them they have to eat a lot of that contract.
The contract they would have to eat.
But there's no point if you're the Mets. There's no point in doing that.
No. I think you could see them selling off 35% of their team, their current major league roster right now.
Well, Freddie Peralta is going to be moved. He's had a down year, and
he can't pitch.
They're not happy. They're not happy with what they've got out of him.
Nope.
Lindor, I could see him being moved. I just don't know where he goes. That's the problem. Like the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, always they kind of the revolving door with Mookie not being healthy, and they're getting just because they make a move just because. I'm trying to think.
I will go on a limb and say they will be the team that sells the most off their team.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah, I think they will.
They could make the first big selling trade in this whole ordeal.
Yeah, I think Soto is the only untouchable guy on the Mets right now. Mm-hmm. I think everybody else could go in the right package.
Yep. Last one before we end off tonight, guys. Might as well do it. Texas Rangers. Jonathan, go ahead and start.
I'll say this. I know this is buy or sell. I think they're going to stand pat. I don't think they're going to make a move because you're almost a little far away removed from your World Series year, but you're not in that part where you want to rebuild yet either. You have veterans that you're hoping to come off the books here soon. And then you have some young guys that you do want to invest in. I don't think a trade to be a buyer is beneficial to the long-term future. But at the same time, I don't see them being sellers because you're in first place. So I think they're going to be a neutral. I think this is neutral. I think they're stand pat. I don't see them making a move that's going to hurt the future, but at the same time make a move that's going to hurt the present and these sellers right now.
I think the two pieces that a lot of teams would want out of Texas is Rocker and Leiter. The Rangers would be stupid to trade in either one of those guys.
They will. I'm pretty sure I've heard Texas beat writers saying that they're not going to trade those two.
Yeah. So, do I see them adding maybe a bullpen arm? Yeah, probably. A minor bullpen arm.
But there have been people throwing around.
That's just you're adding something to maybe help you get over the hump. So I think they stand pat. I agree with John.
There have been people throwing around the maybe trading Corey Seager potential question.
I think the only place Seager goes back to L.A. At this point of his career, what's his market going to be? It's the same thing as Lindor. It's a big contract, but you're not getting the production that Lindor's been able to do the last couple of years. You're not getting that out of Seager. So, like, if the Dodgers want to bring him back, kind of what we just said about Lindor going back to Cleveland, if Dodgers want to bring back Seager, maybe, but I don't think there's a market for Seager. The market was there for him when he wanted to go when he didn't want to go to Atlanta. It was there. He didn't want it. So now we're looking at him basically. He's kind of dwindled his market. I don't see that being the case. I think the Rangers are going to be stuck with Corey Seager unless they want to dump him.
Yeah. Yep.
I think they'll stay pat too. That's just the question I've heard, but I was like, they're in a spot right now where if they do anything, it's just going to be detrimental more detrimental. They can
win the division with what they got. That division's weak sauce.
We're literally right now playing a bunch of young kids and backups, and we're still winning the AL West.
Yeah,
you literally had one of our top prospects who just called up a couple weeks ago, hit his first career home run tonight. And Sebastian Walcott's back, so he might be coming up pretty soon.
Which, if you can win this division without making a move, without hurting your future, that's a success. Yeah. That is an absolute success because, again, there's money coming off the books here pretty soon, either within a year or two. Yep. And if you have money come off the books, you can go spend. Then you have the ability to spend. So if they stand pat and still win this division, that's a job well done by Chris Young.
No question.
Absolutely. So, Scott, I know tomorrow we're not going to be live on air on the radio, but we'll be on the YouTube page tomorrow doing the radio show. So if anybody doesn't hear it on air, it's going to be on the YouTube show, the YouTube page tomorrow night.
Who's replacing us? Is it the Jumbo Shrimp?
It probably is the Jumbo Shrimp, if I had to guess. So 4 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Rec Room Sports Radio Show, which will just be YouTube only. Check that out tomorrow. What else you got going on, Scott?
Fall start Thursday tomorrow night with Nick, Sam, and Tanner. We're talking the AFC East, which would be great, so they can shish kebab my Patriots. This week, Saturday is Lock It In. We'll be previewing a couple more conferences, I believe.
Big Ten. It'll just be Big Ten.
Oh, just Big Ten. Oh, we got a break.
Yeah, because it's an 18-team conference. So.
Oh, geez, here we go. And then back in next Wednesday. Maybe some trade will happen. Maybe not. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, it's really interesting, these wild card races. So we'll see. That's it for me.
Jonathan, what you got going on? I know you're on the road once again, but what you got? What else you got going on?
I feel like I live in my car now. Actually, I've been in my car longer than I've been at home in Beeville. So I'm in Houston. I'll be out here for the rest of the week. Tomorrow through Saturday, I will be driving then to Dallas-Fort Worth Saturday night for a recruiting camp that's Sunday and Monday, and then I'll turn around and be back in Beeville for a couple of days, and then next week when we're on the show, I'll be driving to College Station next week. So again, it's back on the road as it's the life it is for me as a college coach. Like I said, living in my car, my suitcases don't leave. So no, it's again, I don't get any sympathy from people. I'm a college baseball coach. I get paid to go watch baseball games. How awful of a life I have. No, but but I will say, I know it's so awful. I will say though, and y'all gonna be mad at me. I am gonna give myself about a 2 or 3 day vacation when the summer ends for me. I'm gonna go to South Padre Island for sit on the beach. Go sit.
Just take your weather. Take your weather with you, will you? Get it out of my state.
I really can't say anything because in about 6 weeks I'll be in Las Vegas, so I can't really say anything. So
I gotta go. I gotta go sit on a beach and go play some golf a little bit. So I'll be. I'm gonna go when the summer finally ends for me, and my travels are done before the boys start showing up here at the end of August. I'm gonna go sit on the beach in South Padre for a couple of days and pretend I'm back on the Dominican Republic.
Here in about 7 or 8 weeks, I'm gonna go to my first NFL game. So
I'll tell you this though. Hey, my tan is looking really good though. I've been out doing tan out here and being in Dominican. My tan is looking really good.
All right. Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, wonderful doing this show with you guys. We'll be back with next week with some more. We'll probably do some more buy or sell if there hasn't been any more stuff done, but that's going to be like a few days before the actual trade deadline actually happens. So
4 days. We're at the end of July next Thursday, so
we'll probably get some more newsworthy stuff to talk about. But until then, thank you guys again for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, Spotify.
Bye, Spotify.
Love y'all. Stay safe. Have a great night. Take care.